Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and welcome to the show, Seeing the Unseen with Christopher LaPrath. My name's Kenan, and I produce the show. First off, I'm just going to do a couple quick notes for housekeeping, and then I'll do an introduction that talks about the topic for the evening, which tonight is what's influencing you. So that's a fun one. But before I get into that, just a quick note. So for anyone who's joining us the first time, we always do a free reading for you. Just make sure to say something in the chat, whatever platform you're joining us on, and we'll know to pull a card for you and give you a reading. So that being said, after the first time, it's $10 a reading going forward after that. Or you can do $100 for the full month and do a reading for every single show. Now, with that, I found a fun quote that kind of applies to what we're talking about this evening, which is, I'm not sure who discovered water, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a fish. And with that, the explanation there is that every perspective is unique and every experience is just as unique, but our experience and our awareness can be extremely limited, both by our environment and by whatever programming it is, the way that we're trained to think about the world, because really it's our mind that does the seeing, that does the perception of the world around us. So the question is how to change that programming to see the world in a different, maybe better way. Well, the best answer is just keep watching this show. And with that, I'll turn it over to Christopher, and thank you all again.
Thank you, Kenan. That was a great introduction. I really like that quote because fish don't necessarily know they're in water. And so sometimes we don't know what is around us or what is influencing us. So I wanted to teach a little bit tonight. Because most of you have been on the program for many months, a year that the program's been on. And so I always do my best to come up with things that might be helpful for you or your family or your friends. Now, I was raised in a haunted house. So before I tell you this experience, let me back up and just help you relate a little bit. So, have you ever really been looking for your glasses? And you're looking and you're like, you're going crazy. And then you just ask somebody, hey, have you seen my glasses? And they're on the top of your head, okay? And I've done this. I have been looking for my cell phone, and it's been in my hand. So or car keys, right? You're looking for your car keys and they're in your pocket. There are things that we as humans can get confused about. So I wanted to preface this story with those examples, because having been raised in a haunted house and have been doing readings for many years, my experience, now this is a rule of thumb. This is not God's honest truth. It's simply a rule of thumb. Sometimes when people pass away, especially if it's a violent, sudden, maybe even drug-induced, where they overdose and they just simply fall asleep, the soul, let's say the soul, rule of thumb, the soul is comprised of three parts. There is the higher self, the self that is connected to the source, and it connects these other two parts. The other part is the memory and emotions that comprise you, memory and emotions. Then there's the part of the soul that is the mental part, the reasoning part. We'll call it the reasoning part. Okay, got it? So, parental overriding soul, which is we call it the higher self source. Then there's the mental and emotional. And then there's the reasoning. Now, sometimes when people are killed, and this is a reason why I won't come see you in a hospital. I'll send flowers. I won't come to the graveside because many times when the soul gets split apart, there's a part that has the memories and emotions, but they have no reasoning power. They don't know they're dead. So they're just like do-do-do-do-do-do, and they're attracted to objects and things and people. Even if they died 100 years ago and they were maybe attached to their wife who continued on living, and the wife passed away, the daughter, the great-granddaughter, the great-great-granddaughter, if that great-great-great-granddaughter is similar to that person's wife, they're going to stick around because they still don't know they're dead. And understand, in the spirit realm, there really is no time. There is no time. So, but because they have emotions, this is where the term poltergeist comes from, where things move. Their emotions can get so intense that things can move in your house. Or not your house, but let's say your friend's house, where they have things moving. That is part of that energy, okay? But they don't have any reasoning mind. So this is where, have you ever talked to somebody and they're like, and they're not listening. So you go, hey, I'm talking to you. You get their attention. If you have somebody with this issue, or you go into a place and there is a poltergeist, go, hey, you're dead. It's important to move on. It's important for you to make progress, to come back to your source. And you will notice a huge difference. The other type is, the other part of the soul that can get split is called, it's like the reasoning. These, I'll call them entities, these spirits know they're dead, but they have no emotion. They have no memory. They just know they're dead. And you know what they want? They want a life. They want their life back. So this is the most dangerous type. And this is where you've heard of exorcisms being performed. This is where people can become possessed. And it's usually this type of person. Now, again, these are rules of thumb because we live in a dynamic universe where everything does happen, can and does happen. So these are rules of thumb, but they're useful tools to be able to understand and to understand maybe sometimes what you're dealing with and maybe what is outside your pay grade. Okay, to deal with. I thought that might be helpful because we always want to, first of all, light the incense. This raises the vibration, okay? This gets attention, and in a very loving way. It's very important to do this with love. But when you talk to these spirits, if you ever do, if there's ever a situation, think of some of them as teenagers with a cell phone. Okay? You have to get their attention. and let them know that you're talking to them. You can light the incense in a very loving way. Explain to them, now these are the ones with the memory and emotions. To move on, to let them know that they've passed on, because they don't have a reasoning mind. So I lit the incense. Great blessings to you all. And that pulls us into our group card, which again, somehow it always ties in with the theme, is what is influencing you. And Kenan talked about sometimes it's our environment. Sometimes you can pick up a phone and talk to somebody, and when you hang up, you feel off. And that's not necessarily a ghost, that's not necessarily a spirit, but it can be projected energy. Because again, it's a non-linear universe. So that energy is non-linear. It exists with that person. It also then exists around you. And you can feel that. So that's where you, in no uncertain terms, just say, return to sender, return to sender, return to sender, right? Literally, not my monkeys, not my circus. Okay, now the group card. I love this because it's all encompassing love. Monday night, we had the Source card. This is the heart of Source. This is the serenity and bringing more serenity into your life. Well, how do you do that? You notice the energies around you that have influenced you, or who you've been around, who you've talked to, what is around you. Because this card is beyond gender, it's beyond dogma. So when I was in this religion, I would argue with people constantly about what was right, what the Bible said, what was wrong, how they should be, how they shouldn't be, blah, 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 blah. It was absolute dogma. And that's why I say in teaching you tonight and sharing some of this information, this is a rule of thumb, okay? This is what I have found to be true and what I have found to be helpful. So that's why I wanted to share with you. But this card is about releasing set patterns, set projections that have been put upon us that we think are our own. Okay? It's like Kenan was talking about earlier, that the fish doesn't necessarily know it's in water, right? So it's like, what was that quote? If I want to know what water is, I won't ask a fish. I love that, right? Because a fish isn't necessarily going to know what water is. It just knows that it just in something, right? So we may not know what we're in. We know we're in something. We know that something's off, or something like I always joke, because I lived in China for a while, and there's an ancient Chinese saying, "Some ting wrong," okay, that something can be wrong, and you just don't quite know what it is. But this is about staying connected. And we are staying connected even though we feel we're not. So with this confusion, like I was talking about the soul being split, if you can understand the confusion, if you've ever looked for your glasses and they're on your head, you can understand confusion, right, if you're looking for your cell phone and it's in your hand and you're talking to somebody. You can understand that. And so it's the same. It can be this. It can be the same in that spirit world. But know that you are always connected to the heart of creation. Remember, okay. Remember. It's like Spock, right, in Star Trek, where he would do the mind meld and he'd go, remember. And that's what this is. Remember that you're connected to Source. And you're directly connected to the heart of Source. And bring in all the love, appreciation, and acceptance that you deserve. Are you willing to do that now? bring it in. All of the love, joy, acceptance, bring it in now. You deserve it. Okay, good job. Who's on first?
John's on first.
Hey, John. John is an official Wyoming.
Is that right?
I think, is that how you say that? Hey, Doc. Doc, you're on. Thanks for being here. We'll pull a card for you. Great to have you. Everybody say welcome to Doc Skinner. An amazing individual. Lives up in North Arizona. Actor, producer, director, awesome guy. Okay. I just happened to look over in the chat and saw you there, Doc. This is really cool. So got John, who's in Wyoming. He bought land stretching out so far and wide. He can keep Manhattan. He's going to live in that countryside. So I'm really proud of you, John. That is really fantastic. So, John, I gotta share this story with all of you. Yesterday, I'm pulling this up on my phone. Yesterday, John texted me, and okay, everybody, this is John. Okay, he got a cowboy hat to really prove that he's a Wyominger. And he calls me and he goes, Chris, I'm thinking of buying this land. And I go, he said, could you pull a card? I said, sure. Whether it's in his best and highest interest. So I'm going to put this underneath the other. I'm going to put this underneath the other camera. Is that okay? Yeah, there you go. See if you can see it better. So I don't know if you can all see this, but this is the card that I pulled for him. It's called The Fool, and it's called Beginnings. Now, what's interesting, what I want you to pay attention to is the river and the cliffs. Now, this is the view from the land that John bought. The river and the cliffs. This gave me chills because it was the exact card with almost the exact picture. So you had the Fool card, which is New Beginnings, which was an absolute positive for him to go ahead and get the land. And today he got the land. He got the hat anyway. So that was a great story. So thanks, John, for being here. So we'll see what comes up for you tonight. So this is called the science card. It's about planning. But it's also about blessing your area. So thank you for being here. I want to encourage every one of you, no matter where you live, to bless your room, your house, your yard, the land you live on. I work with a client who started working for a company in New York. And I said to him, Mike, when you go there for the first time, I want you to take tobacco. And I want you to offer tobacco to the land and to the natives that lived there. He goes, what do you mean? I go, it was a native, it belonged to the Native Americans. And he goes, no, I don't think so. I go, okay, it's not me, it's spirit. Just do it. Well, he ended up going up there from North Carolina, where he lived, flies up to New York to this area, comes to find out that it used to be a Native American reservation. And there were actually Native American cemetery there, burial ground. So it was very holy. And I said, when you offer this tobacco, it blesses the land, it honors spirit. So you can use tobacco, you can use salt to clean the land, You can pray over it. You can bless the earth to bless that land and to bless that house. So this is what this is about, John, is to sometimes forego the reasoning mind, where is this really logical, or can I find this in a book? This is beyond the book, right? That's why the cross is there. It symbolizes the four directions. It's not necessarily a Christian symbol, but it does symbolize the four directions for blessings to come from all directions into this new venture. So if any of us are moving into a new venture, which I think everybody on the show is going into a new venture. Doc, you're going into a new venture. So bless it. Bless it and go, okay, Source, show me how best to use this venture. Bring this venture in to the highest prosperity for myself and others. Financially, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, all of it. Okay, who's next?
Next, it's Diane.
Hey, Diane, thank you for being here. This is tuning into your teachers. Your teachers don't always give you the answer. Let's say if it's a math problem, right? Or an English problem. They'll give you clues and they'll allow you to figure it out without getting emotionally involved in it, or emotionally upset that you're not getting it. Okay? They just give you time. Like you have a whole school year to open up the understanding. You don't necessarily have to get it in that moment. Allow some time and space to be able to understand sometimes why something is happening. There were so many things in my life that I didn't understand why they were happening at the time they were happening. I mean, I could spend 3 years on a show every night of the week telling all of you these examples, and I know every one of you have had examples of this where you've had something happen and not know why it happened, but later down the road, maybe a week, maybe months, maybe a year, 2 years, you understand why it happened, why a relationship didn't work out. And you find out that later that person was cray-cray. Okay? And you learn not to force a situation, which is fine. Letting go. This is the Hierophant. This is the knower, but trusting the knowing. And the answers don't necessarily come all in a revelation. They come in little tidbits and lessons and aha moments over a period of time. It's how best we learn. It's how best we retain what it is that is being shown to us or what we're being taught. Okay? So, I would highly recommend you calling in your grandfather from your mother's side. So everybody, Diane's my sister. So she's in my book, and our grandfather on my mother's side was, he was a healer, total healer. But there's something that he's coming through for you. Just talk to him and say, I'm listening. Okay, good. Who's next?
Awesome, it's Lindsay.
Hey, Lindsay. You talk. Coming in. Okay. You have an off day. The next day is going to be better. But actually, Lindsay, 2 cards fell out for you at the same time. So this is the happiness card first. And if what I'd recommend, if you all can, is while we're doing this, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, is take a picture of the card. Because sometimes if you text me or call me after a show, I have no idea what I said to you. It just kind of comes through me, okay? So if you ask me what I said to you, it's like asking me what I had for breakfast 2 weeks ago Monday. I have no idea. So if you take a picture of this, this is the happiness card. And Lindsay, this is speaking what it is you want, not how things are. Because when you speak how things are, if they're not how you want them to be, it's like adding 5 packages of Jell-O to 1 cup of hot water. And that puppy is going to get hard. It's going to solidify and create more of what it is that you don't want. So speak of happiness. Speak of your blessings. No matter how dark sometimes it can get in any of our lives, find one flower. Find something that you appreciate. I went and I found a really, really soft blanket. And when I go to bed at night, I feel the blanket. It is really soft. And somehow it just puts me right out. But I'm saying it, and I'm grateful for the blanket, right? I'm grateful for these things. I'm grateful for where we're at, what we're learning, where we're going. And we're going on this together, raising consciousness. Every one of us has changed tremendously over the past year. So this is be careful what you speak, Lindsay. Speak blessings, blessings, blessings. Okay.
Awesome. Marilyn Pitts is next.
Hey, Marilyn. So, thank you for being here, and thank you for playing this card. There are some people that think suffering, when you suffer, you're more holy. In suffering, there's more merit to being closer to God. Oy vey. Okay. That's just the environment that those people are in. Okay? But they're like addicted to negativity. And you're a nurse, you know what it takes, how people can get addicted to, what's the word, Kenan? Not pheromones, but neurochemicals. Neurotransmitters. Thank you. Thank you. I love having him here. These neurotransmitters, people can get addicted to them, and some of them can be very negative. And some people want allies to commiserate with. Marilyn? You just go, I want you to channel the Supremes. Stop in the name of love, okay? Stop. they're definitely not benefiting you because they want to pull you in as allies. If they're talking about failures, they're talking about how bad life is, how blah, 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 blah. Be free of taking any of that energy on. It's not that I'm saying don't listen to people. I'm just saying be free of taking that energy on. And remember that you've helped thousands of people cross over as a hospice nurse. And you've got these amazing stories. So when people come to you and they're addicted to this negativity, you don't have to be around them because there's really trust your gut, but be free of taking it on yourself, okay? Or wanting to make it better for them. What if they don't want to make it better for themselves? What if they just want allies? Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, who's next?
Very good. Doreen's next, actually.
Hey, Doreen.
Yeah.
So, Dorina, I will say the same, very similar. I love this, how there's this synchronicity with the reading and how it builds. Because, again, these cards are for you individually, but they're also for the group. So, this is profound about the brain doesn't do time. So, when you live or relive past sorrows, it actually changes your body chemistry. Or if you go back on self wrongness. So anywhere, Doreen, anywhere, and I'm going to ask everyone on the show, anywhere throughout all time and eternity where you have made yourself wrong, where others have made you wrong, are you willing to release that energy and just return, and for that never to return? Release that energy and have it just be gone. And sorrow is a tool to help us understand that there are much, much bigger pictures. My book goes into that, if you all haven't read my book. Okay, who's next?
Thanks. Yeah, it's Abby and Marilyn.
Hey, Abby. Hey, Marilyn. Happy Wednesday. I love having you guys. So I'm not sure if you've thought about this, but I would highly recommend putting like helicopter blades on that new motorhome you bought. So Abby, look how far you have come. This is the rider with these helicopter wings, right? This, you can hover, you can move backwards, forwards, sideways, just like a helicopter. Move forward. Be free of looking backward. This is about you moving forward and being able to see how far you have come. Look at the changes, and if you need help, Marilyn has great insight to help remind you how far you have come, the changes you have made, and it's all really great for us to all have that reminder. So get with somebody you love, your friend, your family member, and go, what have you seen? What changes have you seen? And it helps you realize really how far you've come. And be free of looking about how far you have to go. because the key for you is to stay present. Stay present. Worry, when you start worrying, you jump into the future and you're not present. Okay? Regret, you're slipping into the past. Okay, this is what we were talking about with Doreen and Marilyn earlier about failure or sorrow. The people are, they're slipping into the past. No. Present. Source is present. Stay present. In that way, don't be free of dividing your soul between past and future. Stay present. Okay? All right, Marilyn. Oh my gosh, thank you guys. This is, your higher selves are contributing so much to the group. And it's phenomenal. Thank you. Because these are all messages that we really need. Marilyn, your being here is absolutely amazing. You're not here to just hang out. This is called the Hanged Man. This is recognizing our presence here on Earth is making a huge difference. Are we willing to accept that? Every one of you on the show, you being here right now in this period of time is for an absolute reason. And Marilyn, you're no exception. You are here to not just hang out, like the Hangman. It's also a card of coming into an understanding more and more of what it is you do and how important you are. So the next 4 to 8 weeks are going to be phenomenal for you. Even more life-changing. That's what you came here to do. You came here to grow, change yourself, but also touch and change the people around you, which you have. Recognize that. So Abby, I'm gonna give the same commendation that I gave to Marilyn to remind you of how far you've come. Remind Marilyn, look at how far she's come. Look at how great she's doing. Okay. Who's next?
Nice. Geo and Kat.
Hey, Geo. Luxury. So remember how Kenan started the show off with, don't ask a fish where water came from? This is upgrading from water to champagne. I want to commend you for thinking big. How can you think bigger? And are you willing to let go of any and all belief that thinking bigger is going to require more work and more responsibility? Okay, there it is. All of us. Thinking bigger, achieving bigger, doing bigger. Are we free of believing from how we were raised, from projections, wherever it came from, the influences that we've had on us? Are we willing to let go of believing that thinking bigger, creating bigger, being bigger is going to require more work and more responsibility and so much more time? No. Because if you're clutched onto that, then in creating bigger, yeah, it's going to create more work, more responsibility, less time. Okay, flush that turd. Okay. All right, Kat. I love you. Okay, Kat, here we go. Okay, Kat. Highly recommend you becoming more. So this is the knight, and he's looking west. Highly recommend you start looking at some Eastern practices. Watching Eastern philosophy YouTubes. Reading autobiography of a yogi. Could you type that in the chat, Kenan?
Sure.
Autobiography of a yogi. Because it will give you more tools in your toolkit for what it is that you're going to be doing. It also will help you, like doing the meditation, understanding meditation and what's going to work for you for meditation. But doing that every day, just taking a few minutes for yourself, meditating. But this is about creating new spiritual practices for you that are going to work for you. And you'll be able to teach and help others to do that. But it's no more than just learning the left brain, the techniques. Unless you get the essence of what a technique is, the technique is worthless. So that's the point of this, is it's going to help you not just learn a technique. It's going to actually help you visibly change. Okay, who's next?
Laurel.
Hey, Laurel. Okay. Okay, my dear. Are you willing to let go of limiting yourself? Think of yourself at a party and it's in your honor. Birthday, shower, Christmas. And you unwrap this present, you're like so excited. And you appreciate it. But then you're like, okay, what's next? What's the next one? Move into that field, because the universe has these gifts for us. What's next? Think bigger. So this is Jared. This is Geo. How can we think bigger? How can we think bigger? I got some, I won't share this with you right now, but for instance, I got some great news where today that the book, could even be something else even far beyond what I imagined. So think bigger. And so for you, are you willing to open up to more fullness? Absolute love, like more love coming to you. More love coming to you. And anywhere where you have a belief that love hurts or has hurt you in the past, are you willing to flush that one? Because who you are is love. And so tell the universe, hey, now match me or better. Okay, as far as somebody that is truly loving, loves themselves, bring it in. Bring it in. Okay? Somebody that you can continue to move up with and onward with. That's what I get with this circulation. And walk. You got to move it, You got to move it. So this is increasing your circulation. Okay, here we go. Who's next?
It's Doc.
Hey, Doc Skinner. I'm glad. Thanks for being on here. I really miss you. We've got to get together somehow. Okay, Doc. Don't get a drone. Be the drone. You know how drones, well, I know you know drones because you're in film, but these drones give a higher perspective. And this is you gaining a higher perspective. And anywhere where you've taken on okay. This is wild. Okay. So Doc, this is a previous life around the 1300s coming through. You were a staunch, dogmatic believer in if you sailed out into the ocean, you'd fall off the end of the world. You were a bulldog on this. But it was this fear of the unknown. So the essence of that, some of that has carried over into this lifetime, where it's anywhere, Doc, anywhere, where you have taken on any belief that wasn't even yours around fatalistic viewpoints of fatalism, with relationships, with career, job, money, anywhere, are you willing to burn that to the ground right now? I'm not going to say flush it. This is more like burn it to the ground. Any fatalistic, any negative, it's not even negative. It's layovers. They're energetic layovers from previous lives. It's like they're like encrusted, and you're breaking. This is about you breaking through the crust to actually come to Doc, who Doc is, and have this incredible peace of mind. That's what's coming within the next 3 months. Okay. So, wow, I was deciding whether or not to direct my film Fly or have someone else do it. Okay. So did that answer your question? So after this reading, you're going to notice a difference on your viewpoint as to whether you should direct or not. And Doc has written this amazing movie, unbelievable movie. Oh, I'll call you later, Doc. We got to talk. Anyway, all right, who's next?
Oh yeah, you're good. It's Austin next.
Austin. Okay, Austin. So, Austin, again, this is rule of thumb. But if you read the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, a lot of women are raised in families where they have to learn to survive by playing games. Now, this is not a judgment. This is not wrong or bad. It's just how it would be like sitting down with somebody and playing a game, but them not telling you the rules, and them getting mad at you because you broke a rule. What? Like, oh, what rule? This is in any way, shape, or form, and this isn't just women. I'm not just saying this about women, but in any way, shape, or form, are you free throughout all time and eternity of attracting people that have an agenda and aren't telling you the agenda? And I want to ask that question to everybody on the show. Are you willing to let go of people that play games or are not telling you the entire agenda? And attracting any of those people. Or if they do come into your field, you can just go to yourself, oh, I know what's going on here. And you'll have the wherewithal. But the reason I'm saying this is when you look at this card, it's this person behind this veil. And then anywhere where anyone's ever done that in the past to you, move that energy out of your field. So let me explain to you on the show what I mean by field. Picture it like this. There's an energetic field around you. Or how about we do this? You have a farm and you have a literal field. And there are big boulders in that field. You want to plant crops, but there's big boulders. There's a 200-year-old plow that's in there. There's a few trees that have grown up, sprouted up. And in order to plant, you have to remove that obstacle out of your field. So there are energies that can get caught in our energetic field. And Kenan and I can perceive them. Like when there's something comes into our field, we're like, no. This is a boulder. Okay, it's a big one. And you simply just are aware of it, and even just being aware of it helps to move it out. So that's what I'm talking about. Anywhere in the past where this has happened that has caused a rift in your field or a energy within your field, remove it and then repair that. Take some time to do that. About 3 weeks. Okay, who's next?
Perfect. She hasn't said hi yet, but wait, Lana. Sam Brosey is next, and then Lana.
Hey, Sam. Yeah. Awesome. Nice to have you on, Sam, again. Okay, here we go. As I pull the card. This is called the Empress card. And I want to highlight a couple movies here. One is called The Princess Diaries with Anne Hathaway, Julie Andrews, where she was resistant when the show started to be the princess. But then she morphed slowly into claiming it and understanding who she actually was. And then she could actually rule a kingdom. That's what this card is about, Sam. Scott. Is coming into a real understanding of your power. And anywhere where you have believed that coming into your power is ego, are you willing to let go of that now? There's not an egoic bone in your body. That's not you. So anywhere where you have met or known people that were in power and you related, and this is when you were younger, anywhere where you've related the power and ego, because this person that you were around or people that you were around were in power, but they had this really high ego and you hated it. And so you got peanut butter on your chocolate. No, you got chocolate on your peanut butter. You equated the two together. Anywhere where you've done that, are you willing to let go of that and be in your power and free of ego? Because power is not tantamount to having a huge ego or a megalomaniac ego is what I'm talking about. Ego is important. It helps you take a shower every day. But that's not the ego I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And this is about you moving into your empire. Claim the empire. This is kind of a theme been throughout individuals in the show tonight. Claiming your empire. This is the Empress. This is ruling with love, as opposed to the Emperor card where it's like more power. This is power with the balance of love. Okay. All right. So, hey, Lanny. Thank you for being here. All right. So there's a new baby, new grandchild coming through. What can you do for your grandchildren? We've talked about this. Your stories. But there's a new grandchild coming through. I mean, all your grandchildren are special. And oh, well, we can talk about this too. I don't know if you've had suspicions or inklings about one of your grandchildren, their mannerisms, the way they talk. There's something about them that reminds you of somebody from your past that's passed on. I really believe that they've come back in that grandchild. We'll talk about this. But your intuition, so this card came up for you tonight, is to tell you that your intuition is right on. That is, what you're thinking is actually the case. Okay, that now I understand this a little bit better. I love you. Thank you for being here. Okay, who is on tonight? Who's next?
That's everybody.
Okay, that's everybody. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. I love you all. Let's do this again Sunday night. If you have any questions, text me, call me. I'm here. Talk to you soon. Love you much.